Welcome back, everyone. I'm Michael, and I'm going to keep this intro short as this story is pretty long and filled with drama. Make sure to like and subscribe, and let's begin. There are about 6 total posts in this saga, with the first being titled, "Told my mom that her coming out is what ruined things between us." This post was created in the JUSTNOMIL subreddit by user VanBabyPony back in 2022. I tried posting this elsewhere, but I think it got caught in a spam filter, and the mods haven't responded. I don't know if this is the right place to go either, since I'm a 16-year-old girl. Like, I mostly live with my dad, but I spend a weekend every month with my mom. They divorced 3 years ago. Mom moved in with my cousin, and it was cool because I went there all the time. A year and a half ago, mom made me go there and introduced me to this girl. She came out to me and said they were dating. She and her fiance are engaged now. She also said they were moving to Victoria in a week, so after a week, she was gone. From where I am to her, it's a drive, a ferry ride, and then another drive. It takes a while to see her, that's why I can only go once a month. Since she left, everything's been so sucky between us. Now it's like a good morning message and a FaceTime goodnight for 5 minutes. And everything else that changed with her just dipping like that sucks too. I don't even like visiting her because it's like I don't belong with her and her fiance. But I went because I thought that she wanted to see me, and I miss her a lot every day. This weekend I was in Victoria and she was FaceTiming my cousin while I studied, and they got to talking about the wedding. She said stuff like how her life is 100 times better since she left, how she's finally got real happiness in her fiance, and how she's her world. She says she can't wait to fully move on from her old life. It just made me so angry. It sounded like her life was so much better with me barely in it. And what do you mean move on from your old life? I'm from that old life. I guess she noticed I was pissed because at night she tried to talk to me. I said I didn't want to talk, but she's like she deserves to know when something's wrong with her girl since I always seem so depressed whenever I come over. That just made me snap, and I lost it and started shouting at her. I was like, I hate the way she came out because my life got a lot worse and it ruined things between us. It sucks that it's like she wants me gone because she's happier without me. That started a pretty bad argument because she was like, I'm blowing it out of proportion. I didn't understand, and then mom just left the room. But I heard her crying when I walked by her room to go to the washroom at night. In the morning, her fiance drove me to the ferry right after breakfast instead of after dinner. Since then, it was just texting because I didn't want to talk to her. My dad and his GF noticed my attitude, so yesterday I told them what happened and he flipped. He said that I couldn't say that shit to my mom, and his GF said I was an asshole for saying it. Before I went to sleep, I FaceTimed my mom to talk again. She said my happiness is hers, and if she's why I'm depressed, I shouldn't see her until I'm ready. I don't know if I was wrong to say that stuff to my mom and what I should do now. My counselor is still in Barbados. My dad's at work, and his girlfriend said that she's staying out of it. Same with my cousin. Again, I'm sorry if this is the wrong subreddit. If there's a better one for me to post, please let me know. This is what the first update said. So a lot has happened since my last post, and I feel worse than before. I didn't plan on posting here again, but you all were so nice. I thought it couldn't hurt to hear what you have to say. My uncle called me saying he wanted to talk and that my dad had told him about everything. I was afraid that he was ashamed of me because he's gay and he's my favorite uncle ever. So he picked me up after school and I went to his apartment and he just gave me a big hug because he knew something was up. So I told him what I said and why I said it. I was scared he'd be mad at me too if my dad was the one who told him. He just told me he wasn't mad and he understood. We played basketball at the court nearby until it was time for him to drop me off. That was like the last time I've ever felt happy because the entire rest of this month has been such absolute shit. I phoned my mom to say sorry the day after and talk about how I felt, but all she did was get mad at me for telling my uncle. She said I'm not allowed to share stuff about her home without her permission. I said I was sorry about both things, but she said it didn't matter now and just hung up. Then her fiance texted and just said to give my mom a few days to calm down. That just made me mad because why should I? She's my mom and I should be able to phone her whenever. I tried, but she just declined my call and then turned off her phone. I don't know, I haven't slept properly at all since then because I think I ruined things with my mom for good. All she's been doing is texting me and we've barely actually talked. Like, I keep thinking about it and my thoughts and dreams get all messed up, and it's like I get this soft lump in my stomach that keeps coming and going the more I think about it. It feels like I was right about being part of her old life, and I wish I'd never said what I did to her. Then it turns out I was supposed to get a tetanus shot when I was 11, but I didn't for some reason. We're not anti-vaxxers, so I had to get it now cause Dad said VCHA was on his ass. and I ended up having a terrible allergic reaction to it. Like, I got sent to the hospital for a week cause of it. Apparently, I had a super rare reaction. That messed up my exams too, and my mom didn't even come to see me because she was going to a cabin with her fiance the day after. She talked to my dad on the phone and learned how bad it was. She just texted me saying she knew I'd be better and that if I were still there when she came back, she'd come right away like it. This made me want to stay in the hospital for longer. She didn't come. Everyone came but her. My cousin came every day, and my dad's GF even slept next to me for a few days. My nieces and even my boyfriend's and best friend's moms came, but my mom didn't. And when I got out, all I got was a text saying, "So happy you're out of the hospital, baby," with a selfie from her and her partner showing off the cabin included with it. I couldn't stop looking at that stupid photo. I obsessed over it for days and kept getting that stupid feeling in my stomach. So I smashed my phone, and my dad's girlfriend heard. He got me an emergency meeting with my counselor set up. She's actually a psychologist, but I just call her my counselor. I told her everything but more with details. At the end of it, she said I was very likely depressed and might need treatment. I got scared and asked her to tell my dad. She did and told us to get our family doctor to give a referral to a psychiatrist to get a proper diagnosis for treatment. My dad got scared and made us get that referral the next day. My dad made the appointment and asked my mom to come, but she said she won't be able to. She just texted me to stay strong and remember I'm the most important thing in the world to her. I don't know what to do. I don't want meds or anything. I just want my mom to love me like she used to again. If you guys have any advice on what to do, I need to hear it. It's like my mom isn't even listening to me anymore and the appointment is on Friday and I'm feeling scared. It's clear that OP is struggling right now, and I can't help but feel that her mother is not doing all that she could. This might be because she truly does not care all that much about her daughter anymore, just like how she said she wants to move past her old life. The way she reacted when OP said that she told her uncle seemed like an overreaction. But then again, being that OP is a teenager, it may be possible that she is viewing things in extremes, and making issues sound worse than they actually are. Let's continue with the second update. I would have made an update earlier, but I just didn't have time. I'm in the hospital right now recovering from my ankle surgery, and all I have is time until I can go home on Friday. So I thought I might as well update. The day after I wrote my post, I had my niece's mom drive me to my uncle, and he just gave me the biggest hug ever. I ended up crying a little, and they calmed me down. I told my uncle about the appointment with the psychiatrist and that I was scared even though you guys were saying it would be okay. I'd just been so unhappy, and I just missed my mom so much. He agreed to go with me and my dad to the psychiatrist because my mom wouldn't be coming. I couldn't sleep at all that night and just felt so scared in the morning. I kept thinking about mom and didn't want to go to school either, but I went. It just felt so weird. That feeling in my stomach was just there and not going away. Only hanging out with my boyfriend felt right. Before lunchtime, I just fell asleep in class and got sent to the office. They phoned my dad and he signed me out and dropped me off at my uncle's house. He was already taking care of my niece, so I felt bad, but I went to sleep at the same time as her. He took a really cute photo of us sleeping next to each other. He woke me up when my dad came back and we went to the psychiatrist together. Long story short, at the end of the appointment, the psychiatrist prescribed me a low dose of antidepressants because I was still scared. I've been taking them and they have made me feel a bit better. I have another appointment next week because my counselor says I might need a higher dose. When I vented to my counselor, she said she'd be willing to host an extra joint session between me and my mom on Zoom if she agreed. She said it might help if I get my feelings across with a third party there. I didn't want to do it, but some of you recommended it, and my counselor said it could be a good first step. So I called my mom, and it was a short conversation again, but she agreed to the counseling session. All I had to do was send her the Zoom link so we could set one up for later. I had the Zoom session in our computer room, so I'd be all alone there. At first, my mom seemed so excited because she said we could work through our issues and put them behind us. I don't want to talk about all of it, but it didn't go well at all. When my counselor brought up me not being with my mom that much, my mom said when I came to UVic, I was staying with her. I just said after everything, I didn't even want to go UVic anymore and would rather just go to UBC because everybody here actually wants me. My mom said that was ridiculous since outside of Waterloo, UVic was the best option for software engineering in Canada, and that UBC only has electrical computer engineering, so I'd have to go to her if I still wanted to do that. I remember my mom said a few times that she'd spent over a decade doing nothing but being a mom. and now that she finally understood herself, she just wanted time to explore that, and I should appreciate that. Then at the end of it, I told my mom that I hated that she didn't come and see me in the hospital. I told her I was scared I'd die, and she just said it wasn't that serious. That made me mad, and I just muted my mic because I didn't want them to hear me crying. I kind of had a breakdown and just ran out to my dad and his fiancée because I was crying. They said they ended the session, but I don't know what they said to my mom or the counselor. Apparently, I fell asleep crying on the couch while hugging my dad, but I don't remember any of it. My dad said I was crying really loudly. I think they carried me to their bed because when I woke up in the morning, I was there and my dad was on a mattress by the door. They said it was to block me because they were scared I'd try something. My dad took my new phone and laptop from me for a bit and said it might be healthy for me to stay off them for a bit. I have them back now. I haven't talked to my mom at all since then, not even good morning or good night texts. She hasn't contacted me at all about my broken ankle even though I had surgery yesterday, and I feel like she doesn't even care that I got hurt. I know dad told her that I'm going to surgery, but she hasn't called. I have my phone and laptop back now, but my dad made me delete IG and Snap because he's worried seeing my mom on there might trigger me. A lot of you said I should stop talking to her, but I feel bad about it. When I think about it, it makes me feel worse. Like it's over now and I don't have her anymore. I just want her back. The only time I learn what's up with her is if I go to my cousin and ask. Apparently, she's still happy and is occupied with all her wedding planning. Another thing that sucks is that I used to love watching Scream with my cousin, but now I can't even watch it because I feel bad for Billy because his mom left him too. I feel bad for feeling like that because he's the villain. So I couldn't even get through our rewatch and we couldn't even watch the new one. I told my counselor that I still feel really bad and sad and nothing's changed. She said I need to bring it up at my next appointment with the psychiatrist so he can up my dose. I feel confused and I don't like not seeing or talking to my mom. I feel like I've done the wrong thing. I've tried to do things we used to with my dad's fiance and my boyfriend's mom, but it's not the same. I just miss her more even though she probably doesn't miss me at all. I wish I could see her, but I don't want to keep ruining things for myself because what if she doesn't want me anymore? I'd rant to my counselor about it, but I'm stuck in the hospital bed till Friday. I guess that's why I'm back here looking for advice on what to do when I'm out of here. The next update was posted about 2 months later. Hey guys, I'm posting again because I'm confused as to what's going on and I thought maybe I'd get some opinions here before I bring it up with my therapist. I don't know if my mom hates me still or if she wants to be my mom again. Everything that she's done lately has made it so confusing. My foot is still bad. The doctor said it's healing, but I'm mostly confined to crutches or a wheelchair, so I'm not really able to go to a lot of places. I am guessing that my cousin told my mom because apparently she came to New Westminster and did her wedding dress shopping there with my cousin and her fiance. She didn't even tell me. I know we hadn't talked since the therapy session, but she promised me that I would get to do that with her. I found out because when I visited my cousin, she showed me the dresses she would wear at the wedding and the reception. I was confused because I was sad she didn't take me. But I was also happy because that meant she still wanted me there. Anyway, her wedding was on Canada Day and I went with my cousin to Victoria a week earlier. My dad said I didn't need to go, but I didn't want to miss it. We stayed at an Airbnb. She didn't come to visit me there, but my cousin went to meet her. I couldn't go because my foot hurt really bad. When she returned, she said my mom was disappointed I hadn't come either. The day after, I was going to go shopping downtown with my cousin, but then my mom came. When she saw me, she didn't give me a hug like she usually gives. She just kind of held my shoulders, gave me an awkward kiss on the cheek, and said she was glad I decided to come. Then she turned me over to my aunt while she went shopping for wedding stuff. I love my aunt, so it wasn't bad getting to hang out with her. She didn't even mind pushing me in the wheelchair, but it wasn't what I wanted to do. 2 days before the wedding, they had this really big meet the families dinner where my mom and her wife were introducing people to their relatives. Since my foot got swollen and the boot was hurting, I had to go in the wheelchair. My mom didn't even introduce me to people. One of the few times I was able to talk to her, this guy related to her wife interrupted us. He asked who I was and she just said, "Don't worry about her," and then an aunt of mine wheeled me away. That made me really upset, but I did feel a bit better because her fiance's parents brought gifts for me. The wedding itself was cool. My mom acted so differently then and made me take a bunch of pictures with her and her fiance. She seemed so happy and told me that it was the best day of her life only cause I had come. At the reception, I wore the dress that she got me, but I couldn't walk on crutches while wearing it. I had to go in my wheelchair, but I didn't want to. My cousin said I could wear a different dress, but my aunt said my mom got the dress, especially for me, and would be upset if I didn't wear it. Then at the reception, I wasn't seated at the table with family near the stage where she and her fiancé sat, but at a table with kids. I didn't know any of them. That family table even had relatives younger than me, so I don't know why I couldn't sit there. My aunt said they moved me there because of my wheelchair, but I just don't get why I couldn't be with my family. My mom didn't even take a photo with me at the reception. She just came to me once and said hi. I wasn't even in the family photo because we didn't bring my crutches. My mom said to leave me out of the photos because they couldn't fit me in with the wheelchair. The day after we were going home, my mom came to say goodbye. She talked to me alone for a minute, and then she said sorry for everything that happened between us before and that she was hoping we could get past it. But if we couldn't, she was still happy I came to her wedding. I didn't really get to say anything because she just hugged me and sent us on our way. I don't feel too sad about everything anymore though. I think it's because of the antidepressants. I have been feeling happier for about a month now, and none of the stuff I was afraid of has happened. For the last 2 weeks, my mom has been texting good morning and good night again. It hasn't been more than that, but I've been saying it back. I'm just confused with the way she's acting and what she wants. Do you guys have any clue or advice? Edit. I wish I could thank everybody who has commented and given advice. I'm sorry if I didn't respond to you personally, but it means so much to me that you guys cared. I've read everything, and I will be bringing up a lot of this with my counselor. Thank you guys so much. I love you all. About another month later, we got update number 4. So I got a phone call from my mom, and I decided to answer since I was curious. Ever since the wedding, she's only been texting me. She said she wanted me to come over. Even though I was missing her, I couldn't go. I had plans to go to Seattle with my uncle's family. I said no because I was planning on staying away like everybody here suggested. My counselor also said that it might be good to figure out my life without her. She said okay, but then the day after, I think she phoned my dad. He came and said that I had to go to Victoria instead. I told him I didn't want to go, but we ended up arguing. He said that I didn't have a choice and my uncle would take me somewhere when I got back. So my dad dropped me and my cousin off at the ferry, and when we got to Victoria, it turned out my mom and her wife had moved into their new house. My mom's wife wasn't there because she was in Ottawa for work, but her parents did come. They're really nice. They kind of went on about how they thought they'd never have grandkids and were so happy when they learned my mom had me. They did offer to get me some presents this time, but my mom let them take me to dinner at some pierogi place downtown instead. I don't know what to think about the visit because so much of it was good, but the one bad part was really bad. When I got there, I wanted to talk to her about the stuff at her wedding. I also wanted to tell her that I would rather have gone with my uncle. But then I just felt nervous and couldn't say anything. I kind of felt like I'd just ruined the entire trip if I did. The first thing I noticed in her house was her giant graduation picture where she was holding me as a baby. Then my mom surprised me by showing me my room, and it was perfect. I have a huge bed, a big personal washroom, a walk-in closet, one of those fancy standing desks, and a TV. It's all white because my mom said she wanted me to paint it when my foot was better. She even promised she'd never let anybody use the room even if I'm not there that often. The first night after I got back from the pierogi place, my mom, my cousin, and I stayed up so late just watching TV, and I even fell asleep hugging her. The next day we went downtown and my mom took us shopping and then to the Royal BC Museum. My foot and my hands really started hurting after because my mom made me use my crutches and not my wheelchair. She said it'd be good exercise. Afterward, she took us to a spa. We took so many pictures. I'm pretty sure she put them on Instagram, but I'm not allowed on it anymore, so I couldn't see them. I was really tired when we got back, so I passed out right away. When I woke up in the morning, Mom actually brought me pancakes in bed cause of my foot. The rest of that day was good too, except at night. My mom said that when I moved in for university, we could make every day like this. I reminded her that I might go to UBC instead. We got into a really big argument about university and I screamed at her. I brought up stuff from before, but my mom said that she wants me to go to UVIC if I still want to do software engineering. But if it was any other kind of engineering I wanted to do, she wouldn't mind paying for UBC. She did say she would still pay no matter where I went, but she'd be really disappointed if I chose not to go to the best university for my degree. She wanted me to stay with her because I blamed her for all of the bad stuff happening to me. She also said I needed to stop exaggerating how bad everything has been because it shouldn't make me change my university plan. I tried telling her that's not what I meant, but I couldn't say it right. I started crying and she seemed to get really mad. She didn't yell or anything, but she just gave a frustrated sigh and said I needed to stop crying, grow up, and accept that she handled things the best way she could. She added that my attitude problems were why it's been a bad year for us. That just made me cry more. And she said if I don't grow up, I'm never going to get a husband. Then she left the room. I just kind of kept crying because I don't feel like any of that is true. And the husband part was so weird, and I honestly can't stop thinking about that part specifically. Half an hour later, she came back with water. She made me drink it and started telling me how if I wanted to do computer or electrical or any other engineering, she'd support UBC. But that UVIC is the best for software outside of Waterloo, and she doesn't want to send me so far away, but will still pay for it if that's what I choose. I don't know why she wanted to keep talking about that. I wanted to move on from that, so I just agreed when she said she'd take me to talk to an advisor to convince me the next time I came over. Me and my cousin left early the next morning, and my mom said she'd try and come over for my birthday. Apparently, her in-laws wanted to attend. She also said she'd try to make an appointment at UVIC once my foot was better. That argument was the one bad thing about that visit. Everything else would have been perfect since it was just like it used to be with her. I don't even know if I'd be posting if it hadn't been for that argument. I just can't stop thinking about the stuff that she said when we argued. I don't even know why she said the husband thing. I just don't get what she meant by that or why she would bring it up. I'm not going to smash my phone this time, but I do feel mad thinking about it. I told my cousin about the argument on the way back. She told me she personally thinks I should go to UBC and would try to convince my mom, but she said she thinks she just wants me to live with her again. I told my dad and his fiancée about it, and he apologized for making me go, but said that he had to. He and his fiancée have checked on me a dozen times already. I get that stupid feeling in my stomach again every time I think about it. I wish I'd been able to go with my uncle instead, but I am going to spend the rest of the week at his apartment, so I guess it's fine. I'm going to my counselor again today before my uncle picks me up. 4 months later, we got update number 5 from OP, so some stuff has happened. I've pretty much just been texting with my mom since my visit to her. I tried to say goodnight and good morning, but when I didn't respond to her other messages, she phoned my dad and he told me I didn't have to phone her but to at least respond to her other messages. I had to go to Victoria for Thanksgiving because her wife's whole family was going to be there, and she told my dad I had to go. I was only there for 3 days with my cousin, and my mom pretty much spent the first couple of days with me. It felt like old times. She and I went shopping, and we even cuddled to sleep watching TV again. But on the third day, she and her wife were focused on the dinner and guests and everything. I was upset that she paid really little attention to me, but her wife's entire immediate family was there, and I got that she needed to focus on them. But when we left after dinner, my mom said bye and that she was going to book a meeting at UVIC. She didn't even give me a second to talk before saying goodbye. And then it went back to just texting good morning and good night until my birthday. Then my mom and her wife came with her wife's parents since they wanted to celebrate my birthday. I guess they're my step-grandparents, but I like them and they seem to like me too. Step-grandma said the best thing about the wedding was that they finally got a grandchild and brought many presents for me. They have a niece around my age, and they had her go out with them to get stuff that they think someone my age would like. My mom got me an album of pictures of us and said to look at the photos whenever I miss her because it'll make it like she's right there with me. At the party, mom and dad seemed to get along just like when they were married. They were laughing, telling jokes, and even had me do goofy pictures with them like we all used to. Mom's wife got along with dad's fiancée and everyone else. My mom didn't talk to my uncle at all besides saying hi, but it was in a really mean tone. This was really weird. I guess she's still mad at him for when I talked to him about what was going on. She was really weird with my boyfriend. She was nonstop making jokes about him and me getting married and making her a grandma. She straight up said to him, "I don't want you to wait until I'm gray and in my 40s to make me a grandma." But his mom also got in on the jokes, so I guess it was just a mom thing. My mom and her wife left after only about an hour and a half to stay at a fancy hotel. Dad offered them a place in his house, but mom refused. She said she doesn't feel it'd be appropriate to stay in the same house as him, and it's too painful for her cause she designed the house. It pissed me off that they came at 4 p.m. and then left before the party actually started. My step-grandparents stayed though. They left in the morning when my mom and her wife came to pick them up. Then at about 8:30, my mom FaceTimed me, but it looked like she and her wife were in the hotel spa or something. It doesn't make sense because I thought those clothes pretty early in the day, but they were wearing those robes and looked like they were someplace fancy. Then my mom said she had to hang up because she didn't want me to see them without clothes on. They both giggled at that. That pissed me off that they ditched my birthday to go hang out in a spa. Maybe they were actually doing something else, but I honestly don't want to even think about that beyond what I have. Then there was the album that she gave me as a present. I didn't really think about that a lot at the time because I was just happy that she came. Yesterday, my dad's fiancée was meeting with some of her relatives for a last-minute planning because she and dad's wedding is on Sunday. I wasn't with them because I was studying, but when I left my room to get my charger, I heard them talking about me. My dad's fiancée was saying the best stuff about me, but her relatives were saying some things about my mom, and she wasn't stopping them. She was also talking about how my mom is forcing my dad's hand to send me during winter break instead of my uncle's. I didn't mean a spy, and I get now that I'm writing about it that what they were saying wasn't exactly wrong. They were only saying it because they didn't think I'd hear, but it really pissed me off, and it still does. Since I was upset, I looked at the album and it's pictures of both of us from when I was a baby until now. Behind each picture, she slid a note about why that memory is special or what the picture means to her if she can't remember. But it just made me angry because of how few photos there are from after she moved to Victoria. Most of them are the ones of the wedding day and barely anything before that. There's one photo in it that was like a month before she came out, and it's when she lived at my cousin's house. In the photo, I surprised her with a cookie that my cousin and I made that day. When I surprised her, she hugged me so tight and told me she was so proud of me. My cousin took the photo on her phone, but that night I found her crying in her room, and she said it was because I was growing up. She said something like how she wishes she could live in moments like that forever since she's so proud of me. And it just makes me so mad because that's what I want back. And the fact that I'm not even in her new photos makes it seem as if the album is her giving me proof that I've barely been in her life and that I should be happy for it. And I know I shouldn't be thinking that because she actually gave me such a good gift. I'm poisoning it in my own mind instead of valuing it and all the memories inside. My therapist has been trying to help me define life without her, and it's hard. I don't want to because I can't let go of this feeling that it could be good again. My therapist says it's all right to want that, but for my own sake, I need to move on in case it doesn't ever happen. She said that I'll feel better once I'm in university, so I've been trying, but I hate it. I guess I came here again to ask for advice and stuff I can bring up in therapy. Then in January of 2023, we get the final update on this story. So the day after my dad and his fiancée got married, I had to go to Victoria because my mom wanted me there. My cousin was supposed to come, but she changed plans because her boyfriend got time off work, so they went to Whistler instead. When I got to my mom's house, I was there for half an hour and found out my mom and her wife were going to Ottawa for her wife's job. In the meantime, I'd be staying with my step-grandparents until Christmas weekend. I'll be honest, I had so much fun with them. I love them both so much. Step-grandpa loves basketball as well, and he's also a Lakers fan. Step-grandma taught me how to knit. They made me amazing breakfast and lunch every day I was there. We would go out for dinner every night, and they even live closer to UVIC than my mom does. They said if I go there, they'd turn a room into a study room for me. The thing was, when my mom came back and I went back there, she told me that she found out while in Ottawa that they got a new car for me for Christmas. Mom was kind of angry because she thought it was too much, and I was honestly just scared because I'd never had anything so expensive. But my mom talked it out with my dad, and apparently it's all right. So on Christmas, they brought me the car, and it is really cool. I was so nervous to drive it, but I do like it. I left it in Victoria because I don't want to drive alone. My mom got me a lot of presents. There was so much there that it felt super overwhelming. After Christmas, we saw the new Disney movie Strange World because my mom and I both love that kind of movie. The main character is gay. As soon as it became clear he was gay, my mom got quiet and just kind of shut down and just went to her room when the movie was done. She didn't even say goodnight to me. When I went to brush, I could hear her crying badly to her wife. I know I shouldn't spy, but I just had to. She was crying about how it's so normal now and how she wishes she could have come out as a teenager. She wished she could have lived her life the way she wanted and that they could have gotten married way before. I felt really bad, and then I heard her talk about how many years she wasted as a soccer mom. I got mad and just went to my room. I was kind of prepared to argue about the movie the next morning, but my mom didn't even come out of her room. Her wife said she was feeling sick, and when I went to say good morning, she stopped me. She said that my mom didn't want me to see her like that. I heard my mom throwing up, and when I said good morning through the door to check on her, she said it back but then started crying again. Her wife took me away because she said she couldn't let me hear her cry. I just watched TV after that. I felt bad because it was my idea to watch that movie. Her wife kept going back and forth and tried to get her to eat. She ate some bread, but then she threw that up too. Then my step-grandparents came because they were worried and they went driving with me to distract me. We went to Dairy Queen even though it was really cold. It did get my mind off things until step-grandpa answered a call from my mom's wife. My mom had to go to a hospital, but I heard her mention how my mom would rather die than go there. She didn't see her parents in the hospital and didn't even go to see me. When my step-grandparents asked if that was true, I said it was about me and I tried not to, but I cried. They got me to stop and I still feel embarrassed that I cried in front of them. When my step-grandparents dropped me off, my mom was on the couch and called me over to give me a hug, but it was like she was holding in tears. She told me that she wasn't feeling good at all and asked if I wouldn't mind going back to my step-grandparents the day after. Her wife said that maybe they should send me back to Vancouver and I could stay with my uncle. My mom just got angry at that. I got really scared and she went on a rant about how she was not going to let me see him and how he's just been trying to turn me against her. She says that he just hates her because she doesn't have AIDS trauma. That didn't make sense because my uncle doesn't have AIDS. She added that he needs to get over himself and remember that my dad is his brother and not his son, and that he needed to focus on his actual granddaughter. Her wife tried to calm her down, but then she just yelled out that she wished that my uncle would die. She said it was the worst decision of her life to pity my dad and not just take me with her when she left. I really didn't know that she hated him that much. Like, when I was younger, they were always so close, and Dad would even joke sometimes about her stealing his brother. I started crying really badly because he is my favorite uncle, but that just made Mom angrier. She yelled at her wife that this was proof that nobody understood and that my uncle was trying to steal me since I was the best thing in her life. Then she actually yelled at me to stop crying. She said I cried more than I did when I was a baby. Then she said the thing about me not getting a husband again. Her wife just took my mom to their room and they left me on the couch. I couldn't stop crying and I just fell asleep there. In the morning, I woke up with a blanket on me and my head was in my mom's lap. I really felt like crying again, but I held it in. Then my mom actually said sorry. She said she didn't know what had been happening to her since we saw the movie, but it was no excuse to yell at me for crying. She's so sorry that she hurt me so badly, and she's starting to understand how horrible she's been to me the entire winter break. She called her wife over and made her apologize to me too. After breakfast, we had a really big talk about how she was feeling and she seemed really sorry. She said she would never get mad at me for crying again. But what mattered to me was when she took all her anger towards my uncle out on me. She was wrong to do that and wrong to let me know how she felt because it would be wrong to make me stop loving him. She said she knows I might not forgive her, but even if I do, she'll never forgive herself. She will try to change back to who I need her to be so we can go back to normal. She did offer to let me go to him, and I don't know why I didn't say yes, but I kind of felt like I still had to stay. I talked to her wife too, and she was really sorry for what happened because she'd never seen my mom that way before. She told me she was wrong not to take my side, and my mom was mad at her for not doing that. She feels really guilty, and she's the one who put the blanket on me. She slept by me until like 4 a.m. when my mom came and took over. She also said she'd do whatever it took to get my forgiveness, and she wishes she never hurt me because I've become such an important part of her life. My mom didn't talk much for the rest of the break, but she started eating a little bit. My step-grandparents came over every day to check on me. Mom did seem to get a little bit better on New Year's. Every time I'd ask how she felt, she'd just say she was okay and it was her job to worry about me and not the other way around. I did go home the day after New Year's because school was starting. Mom seemed really different. She seemed smaller somehow, and she definitely looked skinnier. I know it's only been 2 weeks, but she still seemed sad. It was like she was at least pretending to be happy. The meeting at UVIC went really well, and it does seem like an amazing place to go to school, but I don't know if I want to do engineering anymore. My mom did make me sign up to go check out UBC, SFU, and Langara as well. She also said that she's going with her wife to Ontario in February. She wants to do a road trip together while her wife is working and check out universities there. But aside from the meeting, she didn't leave home at all. When I was there, she cuddled me almost the entire day unless we were eating or she was working from home. I don't know what to make about any of it. I'm not sure if I'm getting my old mom back or if she's just going to keep on changing, or if she's just depressed now. I wasn't planning on posting, but I feel like I need people's opinions on what could be happening with her. That was the final post we got from OP. It was created about 1 year ago now with no updates. Hopefully she's in a stable place now and her mom has come to terms with her own issues. It's clear that she is dealing with a lot of trauma that is caused by regret. And as we already know, OP seems to also go through emotional roller coasters. She is just 16, so all of this drama is probably made even worse in her mind. We never really got any closure on why the mom hates OP's uncle. According to OP herself, the two got along fine in the past. And I don't want to do any sort of victim blaming, but I kind of think that OP's mom is being irresponsible here. I might be in the minority and I understand that she is dealing with a lot of issues, but to scream at your daughter and direct your anger towards her is a bit unhinged in my opinion. It's fine if you regret having a child and not traveling the world in your youth, but regretting the past isn't going to help. Let me know what you all thought about this story, and if you enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe. Also, make sure to check out the other videos on the side.